Money is being stolen out of your pocket and put into the hands of people defrauding you. Not on the margins. This is happening at the highest levels of the American government.
So Ben Shapiro just exposed a massive welfare fraud scheme that's stealing billions from taxpayers. We're talking about 93 shell companies operating out of one empty building, billing $66 million in fake Medicaid claims. This investigation reveals how Democrats design these systems for maximum exploitation.
Billions of dollars of Medicaid stolen from you, the taxpayer. We've seen the quality leering censors and the suspect behavior of thousands taking advantage of state-level programs. This is massive fraud that we're uncovering on the federal scale. Conservatives have always stood by the notion that government screws things up. Democrats build systems where waste, fraud, and abuse, that's the feature, not the bug.
This is exactly what conservatives have warned about for decades. Democrats don't see welfare fraud as a bug, it's a feature. These programs create a massive voter base dependent on government handouts while funneling billions to Democratic voting constituencies. It's political money laundering.
This week, we have a series of bombshell reports after our reporters spent 2 months investigating the extent of welfare fraud in Ohio, where billions of dollars have now gone missing down the rat hole of government entitlement programs under the guise of home health care. Now, our goal at the Daily Wire is to smash the supposedly untouchable pillars of the welfare state. It's time to return to true conservatism. Truth is the only way to get there.
This is real investigative journalism that mainstream media refuses to do. CNN and MSNBC won't touch welfare fraud because it exposes their narrative. The Daily Wire spent 2 months uncovering what government agencies deliberately ignore. That's the difference between conservative and liberal media.
Think one address, 93 companies, no windows, totally empty, billed to you, the American taxpayer, $66 million over the last several years. Shell companies, fake billing, fake services, covered tracks until this very instant. So, Daily Wire has now uncovered via Luke Rosiak and our investigative team, Medicaid millionaires.
$66 million from one address with no windows and no employees. This isn't small-time fraud. This is organized crime using our welfare system as a piggy bank. Multiply this by every major city, and you're looking at hundreds of billions stolen annually.
In a piece titled, Medicaid Millionaires, How the Feds Pay Immigrants Billions to Hang Out with Their Own Families, Luke points out, quote, under the guise of healthcare, Ohio pays people to go to Medicaid recipients' homes to perform homemaking and chores like cooking and cleaning. The people performing these personal services tasks don't have to be healthcare workers. In 2024, Ohio spent $1 billion on home healthcare. So they literally pay people Medicaid money to go to other people's houses to perform homemaking and chores.
Here's the genius of the scam. Ohio pays people to do homemaking for relatives with zero medical training required, no oversight, no verification, just unlimited billing. Democrats write these loose definitions intentionally. The vaguer, the better for maximum exploitation.
They're the companies getting rich off of them. His overall impression, 99% of the facilities I visited had the hallmarks of waste, fraud, or abuse. We are talking about alleged criminality at a breathtaking scale. So, for example, this here is a picture of 93 offices in Columbus, Ohio.
99% fraud rate isn't an accident. It's proof the entire system is designed for theft. When virtually every single facility shows fraud indicators, you're not looking at individual bad actors. You're looking at systematic looting enabled by Democratic policies.
And again, this building, this address, billed taxpayers over $66 million over the last several years. And as Luke points out, if you try to track down what exactly is happening at any one of these home healthcare companies, what you will find is an endless rabbit hole. He says you'll find years of unpaid taxes and debts, sometimes criminal records, an astonishing number of LLCs created in other industries, as if the millions they are making from Medicaid are just a side gig. The government is not and cannot be monitoring the people to whom they write million-dollar checks. They all share combinations of just a few names, like Ahmed Mohammed and Mohammed Ahmed.
The government writes million-dollar checks to people with criminal records, unpaid taxes, and fake identities without basic background checks. Meanwhile, they demand extensive paperwork for small business owners to get a $10,000 loan. The system protects fraud while strangling legitimate business.
They spell their own name multiple different ways within a single document. Many of them have their birthdays listed as January 1 because we don't know when they were born. Pretty much all of them, according to Luke, are registered voters. Wait for it, for the Democratic Party. Not a shock. So the business model is apparently simple. A 40-year-old Somali gets paid for spending time with and maybe cooking for his own 65-year-old mom.
This is the Democratic voter recruitment strategy in action. Import populations dependent on welfare, set up fraud-friendly systems, register them to vote Democratic. It's not about helping people. It's about manufacturing a permanent dependent class that votes for bigger government.
Sitting in the middle is one of these thousands of home health firms that have an NPI number necessary to bill Medicaid. And then the 40-year-old becomes an employee of that company. But the only patient is mom. There's no way to verify whether he's providing services unless his mom is willing to rat him out. Maybe he even gives a portion of the pay to mommy as a kickback for allowing her social security number to be used. Virtually, apparently, all of these home healthcare companies are owned by foreigners.
The fraud is undetectable by design because family members won't report each other. Foreign nationals exploit American generosity while the government deliberately looks the other way. This is what open borders plus unlimited welfare gets you. Organized theft masquerading as compassion.
You guys pay my bills? I'm going to tell everybody you guys are racist. Yay, there it is. Isn't that nice? See, this is the way the magic works. Defraud our Medicaid systems, defraud federal taxpayer dollars, and then when somebody comes knocking on the door, you just claim that they are a racist.
There's the playbook. Steal millions from taxpayers, then scream racism when caught. Democrats have weaponized identity politics to shield massive fraud from investigation. Any attempt at oversight gets labeled as discrimination. It's the perfect crime, theft protected by political correctness.
Now, as Luke points out, this poverty program is different from others like food stamps because it doesn't have a monetary cap. Its extent is not decided by politicians, but by any doctor willing to sign a form saying you could use some help around the home. And one doctor can sign 1 billion of these forms. You can bankrupt the state this way. Again, this is just part 1 of our series. What's coming tomorrow is so much worse. So much worse. I mean, already we're talking $66 million in potential fraud right here from 93 companies at one address.
Unlike food stamps with caps, this program has unlimited billing potential. One corrupt doctor can bankrupt entire states by signing unlimited forms. It's designed to transfer as much wealth as possible from taxpayers to Democratic constituencies with zero accountability.
So again, people were ripping on Elon Musk over Doge, the Department of Governmental Efficiency. Well, they had a lot of after effects Doge. And one of the things they did is they revealed information into the public that allows journalists like Luke and our team, our investigative journalists here at Daily Wire, which we've been building for a couple of years, to go out and actually dig in. Luke was able to dive in thanks to those Doge documents. For decades, Medicaid billing data was a black box. It's one of the biggest government programs in human history. The public could not see a dime of it. And Doge changed all of that in February with a quiet data release that a lot of people missed.
Doge's transparency requirement terrified the establishment because it exposed decades of hidden theft. Democrats fought transparency tooth and nail because they knew it would reveal systematic fraud. Elon's data release gave investigators the tools to uncover this massive corruption.
I mean, this kind of fraud has consequences. And again, it is a feature, not a bug. You would imagine that there would be Democrats out there who are upset with this kind of fraud. After all, if you're an advocate for a government program, you should want every dollar of that taxpayer money to go to someone who deserves the taxpayer money. But that's not what's happening. Democrats are irritated by the fact that people are uncovering this stuff.
$250 million from one landlord across 300 companies. This is organized crime masquerading as healthcare. Democrats aren't upset about the fraud. They're furious it got exposed. Their priority isn't helping people. It's maintaining the money laundering operation.
Mike DeWine is the governor of Ohio. Vivek Ramaswamy is very likely to be the next governor of Ohio. And President Trump is on top of this, and Vice President Vance is heading up the waste, fraud, and abuse policing here. So we are very hopeful that there will be action here, and that's what we need. That's what we need. We need you to get involved. Share that story from dailywire.com. It's not paywalled. We need to help spread the word and hold people who are defrauding the American people to account.
Republican leadership actually fights fraud, while Democrats cover it up. Mike DeWine, Vivek Ramaswamy, Trump, and Vance understand that stopping theft protects genuine welfare recipients. Democrats oppose fraud investigations because their political machine depends on systematic corruption.
We need prosecutions. We need doors kicked down. We need investigations. And again, Republican governors, federal officials need to fix this. That is what we are working on. That is what we are calling for. Because true change can be effectuated here by criminal justice. And this is a unique time to do it. The Trump administration has made policing waste, fraud, and abuse possible. This was not going to happen under Democrats. It can happen under Republicans, but people need to know about this story and they need to get that out there. So head on over to dailywire.com and help spread that story and be part of the movement that ends welfare fraud in the country.
Trump's second term created the first real opportunity to clean house. Under Democrats, this fraud was untouchable. Now we have leadership willing to prosecute systematic theft. But it requires public pressure. Share these stories and demand criminal prosecutions for welfare fraud.